YouTube, my name is Gauntlet, and today I will discuss how to tactically use your navies early on in a Call of War game. I typically put my navy as the third priority behind my Army #1 and Air Force #2 because your navy cannot take land. It cannot expand your economy. It cannot take the resources of your neighbors. Especially early on, I always prefer to use navy as a defensive tool. And unless you're an island nation like Caribbean, New Zealand, or one of the Southeast Asian countries, a navy should not be your highest priority. This is because a navy can be quite expensive. Let's just look at production real quick. They take a lot of steel, and cruisers and battleships take a lot of goods, a lot of oil, and a lot of money. And you can use that instead for aircraft, tanks, and infantry units. And on these major continents, that can be so much more beneficial to you than building cruisers and battleships and maybe getting some shore bombardment. However, in my opinion, that's never been worth it. So I primarily build submarines as a way to protect my cores from invasion and to do some convoy raiding. Like the UK, who's sending his convoys up along my coast. This is pretty obviously an attempt to snipe my cores because they're in a coalition. I said I didn't want to join because I'm already working with my alliance teammates right now. So they see me as a threat, so he's going to try to cripple me by taking my cores. So that's why I have planes spotting my coastline, subs on my coastline, building more subs for protection and screening. And I caught UK's convoys while they're in transit. So I'm just going to send them to the bottom of the ocean. Those are easy pickings for my submarines. As a convoy, I'll just show you. First level moves at 23 and has 5 HP. And they do very little damage to surface ships and submarines. Submarine, 25 HP, pretty good. And decent damage to surface units and some to subs. They're also the cheapest naval unit and the easiest to upkeep. So 15 food, 50 oil, compared to a destroyer, which is like 50% more expensive. The only thing I would use a navy for, apart from defense, is for escorting and for controlling a waterway so that I can invade. So I just have these subs, and if I want to invade Spain, I would take Tangier, and I would use my subs to block these waypoints, as all ships must pass through here, through this waypoint, in order to move through the strait and move around. And so I could block off this area and give a free zone for my very vulnerable convoys to disembark and then embark and begin my invasion. If you know that your opponent does not have a navy, by checking their industrial complexes and seeing if they have naval bases, then yeah, you could invade without having ships or subs to escort your convoys. But you're just asking for trouble, you're just asking for your convoys to get sunk, and I just never find that risk worth taking. Just get some subs, scout, and just don't lose a whole stack of units to an enemy submarine. That just will ruin your day. However, in this instance with Spain, I noticed he does have a naval base, so I most likely will have to worry about Spain having ships ready to contest a possible invasion. Early naval combat is all about getting the best matchups. Subs are good against everything except destroyers, pretty much. Destroyers are good against subs, cruisers are good against destroyers, and battleships are good against cruisers and destroyers. Although a balanced fleet of destroyers, cruisers, and battleships is undoubtedly the best type of fleet you can go for, in the early game, when my resources are very limited, stacks of submarines will fulfill the purpose I need of simply controlling a narrow waterway and getting troops across. Notice how I'm using my artillery piece to support my submarines as they're fighting an American submarine. artillery pieces only do a little bit of damage to subs and naval ships, but it can be a deciding factor in close naval engagements. You may have also noticed this little red icon next to my submarines. This means my submarine is on aggressive fire control. Fire control is an option only people with high command have, so I won't go over it in this video, but basically this allows me to prevent a neutral nation from landing troops on my land or sending in spies while I'm asleep and cannot manually attack. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, leave a like, and I will see you on the battlefield.